Okay, so today I wanted to talk about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I do hope the lighting is good enough for this. I want to show you guys the pictures most of all and how the book is made. So the beginning, the front here, we see the girl levitating off of the ground. The side there. And then the back has more of the pictures on it. It says, a tense, moving, and wondrously strange first novel. The photographs and text work together brilliantly to create an unforgettable story. That's by John Green, and that is a very true statement. And that's the first time I noticed the quote on the book. So, yay me for doing a video. Okay. So moving on, from the back of the book we get the flap. We've got Ransom Riggs there. He grew up in Florida, currently living in Los Angeles. And the inside back cover there. Some acknowledgments and a list of where the photographs were gathered from, the different people that donated, so that's awesome. And then back to the front of the book we have that, of course, is always the page it opens up to because the book is sewn together that way. Title page, intro here. Before I read that flap, let's see the inside of the book. You have Alma LaFay Peregrine, and the side is like this. And nice and gold. This is kind of cloth-like cover, so it's very, very well made in my opinion. I really enjoy how nice this book is set up, and it is sewn together instead of glued. The pages are sewn in there, so that's fantastic. The flap here says, a mysterious island, an abandoned orphanage, a strange collection of very peculiar photographs. It all waits to be discovered in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, an unforgettable novel that mixes fiction and photography in a thrilling reading experience. As our story opens, a horrific family tragedy sets 16-year-old Jacob journeying to a remote island off the coast of Wales, where he discovers the crumbling ruins of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. As Jacob explores its abandoned bedrooms and hallways, it becomes clear that Miss Peregrine's children were more than just peculiar. They may have been dangerous. They may have been quarantined on a deserted island for a good reason. And somehow, impossible though it seems, they may be alive. A spine-tingling fantasy illustrated with haunting vintage photography, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children will delight adults, teens, and anyone who relishes an adventure in the shadows. So, I'm actually not going to go into too much more detail about the book than what the flap says. We do start off in the first couple of chapters seeing Grandpa Portman telling Jacob scary stories about his childhood in the orphanage. There's the title page there with the fire in the hands, which totally reminds me of a different book series. Anyway, I won't go into that. We've got Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, prologue. In the prologue, we see Grandpa Portman telling Jacob stories from the orphanage, the people that were there, what kind of special abilities they had, and he also introduces them to the monsters. Awful, hunched-over ones with rotting skin and black eyes. And they walk like this, and he'd shamble after me like an old-time movie monster while I ran away laughing. And the pages all have little decorations on them, which is fantastic. So, the monsters here are described as, it says, it wasn't long before I had trouble falling asleep, my hyperactive imagination transforming the hiss of tires on wet pavement into labored breathing just outside my window, or shadows under the door into twisting gray-black tentacles. I was scared of the monsters, but thrilled to imagine my grandfather battling them and surviving to tell the tale. So he would tell stories of his childhood in this Welsh orphanage, battling monsters, and his fellow orphanage kids and their abilities. So that's the prologue. But eventually, as we get into the story, here's some pictures. The invisible boy, the levitating girl, the boy who can lift rocks strong boy. This is actually a guy with a mouth on the back of his head, so they'd paint the face on there to go with it. And as we go into the story, Jacob's not quite a witness, but he comes in the aftermath of his grandfather's death in the woods, and he himself sees a man, there's a picture of it, with tentacles coming out of his mouth. So he really does believe Jacob, after his grandfather dies, after seeing this monster, believes that he killed his grandfather and these monsters really do exist. And he kind of goes mental. He goes crazy for a while, has to see a psychologist, a therapist, and eventually the therapist decides that going to the orphanage is what is going to be best for Jacob. So him and his father take off to the island to find these missing children and the orphanage and figure out if these monsters and people really do exist. And it goes from there, really. Lots of adventure. There's not really that many scary moments except for the parts with the monster in it, which are kind of freaky. And we really get to meet these people and discover, their abilities, and it's pretty kind of awesome. And that's about all I really want to go into about this. So, totally recommend this book. I loved it. I loved the photos being thrown in there, and it's just so fantastic and kind of unique these days to come across a book this well made and put together, and I'm very impressed, and I recommend it for any collection, just to have on your shelves and just to look through. Totally recommend. And in the back here there's a list of all the people that donated pictures for the book, and that's pretty awesome. And that's all I'm really going to say about it. So thank you for watching, and if you do want to learn more, let me know. And there's that. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I loved it. Totally recommend it. You guys should get a physical copy. It's fantastic. Okay, bye.